Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Everything is Bad New Fangled Motion Picture Show.
Welcome one and all to another episode of the Everything is Bad New Fangled Motion Picture Show. I'm your host, Niall.
And I'm your Dungeon Master, Nolan.
And today we're going to be reviewing the movie Onward. Before we really start getting into things, just want to let everyone know we're going to do our normal thing where we do a spoiler-free review, and then at a certain point we'll give you a spoiler warning and we'll go more in-depth into the movie after that. So anyway, real quick, so I don't know about anyone potentially listening to this, but I am jonesing for a movie in an actual movie theater. Like, it was kind of depressing watching this at home.
Yeah, a little bit.
And
we even watched it at separate times on separate devices.
We were watching it simultaneously on separate devices.
You had started about 10 minutes before I did.
Yeah, at a certain point, we were less than a minute apart.
I guess.
I think I had gone to the bathroom or something. But anyway... Or no, we were the same, and then you got up to cook something.
I made lunch, and then
that's
Anyway,
that's when the gap happened.
You finished about 10 minutes before I did, or something.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I miss most about the world right now, or the world before. I miss movie theaters
From the long time ago.
A long time ago. And this is a movie that was actually in theaters for like about a week before everything shut down.
Yeah, we didn't. We were
out of town.
We were out of town, so we didn't get a chance to see it in theaters before everything was shut down.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's gonna at all color my opinion of the movie. I mean, I definitely enjoyed the experience less than I would have going to a movie theater. But I think that's just movies in general. So just keep that in mind that when we review things, we're reviewing them, from a movie theater experience. And this was just sitting at my computer. And that's definitely gonna affect my experience of the movie. But anyway, that's also, by the way, why we haven't done one of these in a while. Just because we haven't been able to go to the movies and watch new movies.
Yeah, the last movie we saw was Call of the Wild.
Yeah, what a wet blanket of a movie to go out on, right?
Yeah.
Jeez. So anyway, Onward is the latest feature movie from Pixar. And it would have... How did you put it? Like, it was a decent movie, but not what you less than what you expect.
Yeah, so I
Pixar.
expect more from a Pixar movie. It's the movies. I like the movie. It's a good movie, but it's not as good as a Pixar movie usually is. So if this were like a Disney Animated Studios movie, you'd be like, this is, pretty good. But being that it's Pixar, you kind of expect more out of it. And so it drags it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's not like a bad movie by any means. It's just not,
I mean, it's
that Pixar quality. It doesn't have that Pixar spark.
Yeah. It's got heart.
It does have heart, and there's some emotional hooks in there,
as one would expect from a Pixar movie. But yeah, I don't know, this movie felt like it had like the least amount of world building out of any Pixar movie.
Yeah, they're kind of like, hey,
it's a fantasy world, and
you've all played D&D and seen Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine if all that, but
set in modern
society.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of a fun, whimsical sort of concept, and these two brothers whose father died when they were very young have this opportunity to like cast a spell to bring their father back for a day, and the spell messes up in the initial casting, so they have to go get a new MacGuffin to put into the end of their staff, and they have to do it. They have 24 hours to get it done.
One thing that's kind of interesting about this world is it's all these fantasy creatures, and you kind of expect magic to be commonplace, but it's not, because technology has replaced magic. So it's not that nobody believes in magic, it's just because they know, like, yeah, it used to exist, but I don't need that anymore.
Saying anyone in this world didn't believe in magic would be like saying anyone in modern times doesn't believe in the Roman Empire.
Yeah, like everyone knows about it. It's just, yeah, I don't need magic. I have electricity. I have the combustion engine. Yeah, I don't need it, so it's just sort of gone.
Yeah, and not just magic either, but like the ability for pixies to fly and stuff like that.
And so Chris Pratt's character, the older brother, Barley, he's really into
history.
Yeah, well, history. It's because of the world it's in. It's like being a fantasy nerd. You're into playing D&D and power metal.
I mean, the game he has set up on the table is like basically Hero Quest.
Yeah, it is. Like, even like the cover of the book is the old Hero Quest cover almost identically. So it's like, yeah, they consider him a history buff, but within that world, it's more like being, from our world looking in, it's like someone being a fantasy nerd who listens to a lot of power metal and plays a lot of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yep.
But in their world, it's being a history buff.
I feel attacked.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. But they go on this quest to get to see their father for a day.
Yeah, so it's a cute movie. It's a fine movie. Especially right now if you're stuck at home with kids. We're not stuck at home. We're both essential, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Kind of nice, actually.
Yeah, no, it's nice that it hasn't really affected our lives that much, except that I can't go to the movie theaters or get a haircut anymore. But yeah, so anyway, if you're stuck at home with kids, like a friend of mine who's got a couple of daughters and a son, and like it was something for them to spend the afternoon doing, and they all really liked it, and it's kind of a nice treat of like everything's kind of. What's it? Do we swear on our channel?
I think we try not to.
All right, everything's kind of crappy right now. And so it's kind of a nice treat of like you still get to see this new movie. But there's a few others that did it. And there's what they announced a movie. It's going to be the first movie that's a feature movie that was going to be in theaters, but is going straight to
Artemis Fowl.
Yeah, I think it's Artemis Fowl. Yeah, that's going to be the first thing that's straight to streaming. Everything else that's gone to streaming, like Onward so far, has been stuff that was in theaters, if for like a week. Like Invisible Man was one.
Yeah.
So I don't expect to see too much more of this, of like the quickly to streaming. They already moved back all the big stuff that was coming up, like Fast and Furious, James Bond,
Black Widow,
all that got moved back. Something got moved back like a whole year, like to next March. Can't remember what it was.
I don't remember. I would have guessed Artemis Fowl if I didn't know it was already being.
Yeah, I forget.
On streaming.
But anyway, so it's it's cool that you have this like new movie that you can, have your kids watch, because I think most of America's school districts are closed down at this point.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are stuck at home with said children. So, this is something to sit them down and let them kill an afternoon with. And again, it's fine. Like, it's not a bad movie. It's just sort of a slightly sub-average Pixar movie.
Yeah, it's sub-average for Pixar.
Yeah. It's better
if it were released under Disney Animation, I don't think I would have judged it as harshly.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, it's pretty good. But because I expect so much more from Pixar,
it's a better movie than Bug's Life.
Yeah, I was never much of a fan of Bug's Life. I'd rather just watch, The Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's still a pretty good movie.
Yeah, like we were talking about it earlier, and I'd said that, I'll sit down and watch WALL-E or Cars or Incredibles, but I'm probably never going to bother to sit down and watch Onward again. I don't regret having spent the time this afternoon to watch it, but it's probably never going to be rewatched by me. To be fair, I don't rewatch that many movies either. It's like Fury Road and Snatch and Star Wars. And that's like pretty much it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I recommend checking it out, especially with everyone's got so much time right now.
Keep an eye out if you're a fan of, fantasy, Lord of the Rings, D&D and stuff. There's a lot of like little gags here and there.
A lot
of little references here and there. Like there's a sign on a fast food place that says now serving second breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like little things here and there to keep an eye out for. So, I think spoiler warning?
Yeah, so I think really like what makes this feel like a lesser Pixar movie to me is that there's like just hardly any world building.
It's also pretty short.
But I was just looking at it. It felt short, but it's not.
Really?
I just looked at WALL-E, which I thought was one of the longer ones, and it's only like it's about the same length. It's only like an hour and 40.
Oh.
Inside Out's shorter.
Yeah.
I think Incredibles is like a 2 hour and 20-minute movie or something, I think. Yeah. Incredibles 2 was pretty long.
I'm just saying, I think if they could have expanded the movie a little bit, because it's not even 2 hours. They could have put a little bit of extra time into grow the world a little bit.
Yeah.
One thing I have a question about, though. So, is the Manticore really ancient? Like, it talks about, like, she used to, like, give these quests out all the time, but no one has done that sort of thing for a long time, like hundreds of years, right?
So now she's running a family restaurant.
Yeah, so is she really, like, thousands of years old or something?
Must be, right?
Right, that's the impression I got about the Manticore. That was funny, she's talking to the cops, like, last name, Manticore, first name, the...
Yeah. Yeah, there were a couple of jokes in there that gave me a chuckle, but overall I didn't find the movie like real funny. Personally. Yeah. And I think it's pretty predictable movie.
Yeah, the one thing though that I didn't predict was actually at the end when they brought their dad back for just a couple minutes, Ian, Tom Holland's character, didn't get to meet him.
Yeah.
And he sacrificed that chance to meet him so his older brother could say goodbye to their dad, because he realized that his brother had filled in the role of father for his whole life, had done all the things that a father is supposed to do.
Taught him to swim, taught him to ride a bicycle,
taught him to drive, played catch with him, all that stuff. His brother filled in all those roles that you expect a father to do. And so he was willing to sacrifice meeting his father to go fight a dragon so that his brother could say goodbye to their father. And so I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that he wouldn't get to actually meet him.
So something else that seems weird is so like the place they have to journey to get the MacGuffin is pretty far away from their town, right? Like they show on the map, like, oh, you drive up the interstate, and like they drive all night. Tom Holland's character falls asleep and wakes up the next morning, and they're still driving.
Yeah, and they only have a few hours left, but then they follow this underground river, right? But within a couple hours, they're back to their
the town. Yeah, like they come up, they go through this dungeon, run away from a gelatinous cube, and then they go up this ladder, and they come out of a manhole cover in front of their high school. And it's just like, what? How does the space work? Also, their house is definitely bigger on the inside.
Yeah.
Like when they're driving down the street and there's all those little like Smurf houses.
Yeah.
Because they're all mushrooms. And I was like looking at it and I was like, okay, wait. So if the garage is like looks like it's basically the whole ground floor. Huh? So yeah, their houses are clearly bigger on the inside.
Also, their mother is now either married or engaged to a centaur, and we're just wondering about the mechanics of their love life.
Yeah. So, anyway, I don't really have anything else to add about this movie. Do you?
No, I just wanted to bring up those two things: the brother bond, and then the fact that the Manticore must be like ancient. Although I do like at the end how she like reopens a restaurant, and she's like draws crowds in by like telling these like epic stories of like adventures she'd been on and stuff. So that was amusing. And then like people start grasping the magic again, I guess.
Yeah,
as a
like
result of
so, like
the events of this movie.
She starts flying again because she hadn't like used her wings to fly in ever or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then this gang of biker pixies start flying again, and
Tom Holland or Ian, he starts using magic for like everything after that.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
All right. So this is the part where we would normally tell you the movies that we're going to be reviewing coming up.
But we don't know what that's going to be.
Yeah. It's very sad. Because, like, going to the movies is, like, one of my favorite things to do. Like, we would find excuses. Like, there'd be weekends where we're like, well, we only have, like, a passing interest in this movie, but it's the only thing coming out this weekend, so we're going to go see it. You know?
Yeah.
And we were just about at the end of the Q1 slow season. Like, we were just about to start getting to... Like, we're going to hit Bond and Black Widow and Fast and the Furious. We're going to start getting into the summer blockbuster season, which keeps stretching further and further into spring. But everything got pushed back because all the movie theaters are closed.
Yeah. So sad. Yeah.
We're looking into possibly some other content to come to the channel in the meantime. But... Unfortunately, we're basically going to have a hiatus on movie reviews unless other stuff starts going straight to streaming. Which, unlikely. Basically, everything that anyone had any interest in seeing, they've already announced a tentative release date that's been pushed back like 9 to 12 months, depending.
Yeah.
So, and... Like we said earlier, our last review was called Wild, so you can go check that out. I think that is already on streaming.
I figured that would be on streaming pretty quick anyway.
Yeah. So
I think the only reason they didn't make it for Disney Plus was because
it cost so much money to make. Yeah, it cost so much money to make that. So yeah. Anything to add?
Nah.
So until next time, whenever that is. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Toodles.